title screen.
Hi everybody, thank you for joining me for today's Facebook Live. I know that I'm a little bit late. I really apologize for that. Facebook was giving me issues where it didn't want to do what I wanted it to do. Anyway, I'm here now, and this is the card that we're going to make. I'm using the In the Moment stamp set. You'll probably see that there's been quite a bit going on with the stamp set. I must admit that when I first saw it, I wasn't entirely sure about it. I thought, don't know. But now that I've been using it, I actually really like the stamp set, and those sentiments are so nice just for somebody who needs a little bit of a boost from you. So the DSP that I've used, and I don't have a lot of it left, is the Heart and Home DSP. So these are the pages that I've got left. What I really like about this DSP is you've got the fun images on the front, but the back has got these grey and white wood-grained images, so that's giving you a lot of versatility with the reverse side of that paper. So let's get going. I'm going to do my card base in Mango Melody today. I don't know why. I'm obviously in a good mood. All the cards that I'm looking at are bright colors at the moment. So don't you find that whatever colors you're working with actually reflect your mood when you're in? And just a little bit different. I know that when we do this watercolor with the white, we normally use crumb cake. I'm actually using grey granite just because I felt like a change of color and it worked pretty well. Alright, so the first thing that I'm going to do is emboss my lady. Okay, so we can just stamp her on. And let's move my embossing buddy out the way. And I've got my white embossing powder. And while you're doing your embossing, you may as well do the sentiment at the same time. That'll work. I just want to put my embossing powder back into its container because otherwise I am going to emboss everything around me. Just need something, otherwise I'm going to melt my laminating here. Little bit of noise, but don't you love watching the embossing powder melt? I think it's one of the most fun things is to just see that embossing powder change from that sort of dull powdery look to your shiny melted look. Right, now I've got just a block with a bit of ink on it, so I'm using the white craft ink and your water painter. So what I did with my sample card, you can see I actually did the whole background white. I'm going to do this one slightly differently, where I'm only going to do the image and I'm going to leave the background grey. It looks like my ink here is a little bit too watery, so I'm going to just add a little bit more ink to thicken it up a little bit. You want it watery, but I want it to cover, so I don't want it too watery. Don't use too thick because you don't want it too dark either. You do want that kind of lacy look coming through. And just remember that if it's too light, you can always go and add some more to make it darker. You do need your image covered with your white, because otherwise if you just put your other inks directly onto the paper, it's not going to show up the color as well. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Alright, so once you've got that all colored in, you want to give it just a couple of minutes to dry, because otherwise when you color, you're going to pick up the white and it's just going to dilute your color and smudge a bit. So set that aside to dry, and then what you want to do, and you could have done this before you actually colored it in, but I wanted to show you, is cut out your image. So with my layering circle, the circle is slightly smaller than the image, so when you put it on, you are going to cut off just a small little bit of it, but that's okay. So we're going to put that aside to dry, and you're going to cut out your sentiment, and ta-da, there you've got it. Now we're going to color in the lady. So I just have a scrap of paper or some paper towel, just that you can rub off the ink, and you've got a whole heap of your different color ink, whatever colors you want to color her in. So because I'm using the Mango Melody cardstock, I'm going to use my Mango Melody to color in her top, because I always have to have everything color coordinated. So there we go. I'll see whether we need to make that a little bit darker in a moment. Then I've got all the inks piled up here. They're just coming as they come. I'm going to use a bit of Poppy Parade. She's going to have a red coffee cup. And here again, if you want the inks darker, then go back and just add more color afterwards. We're going to use some green for the pillows. So Evening Evergreen. There we go for the back one. Okay, Susan, give this a try. It's actually really fun and it has a really nice effect. I'm using Misty Moonlight. She's going to look like she's wearing jeans on here. And it's quick and easy. I'm sure that if you listened to me before, you know that coloring is not my forte. I don't do the fancy, complicated, beautiful coloring that some of the other ladies do. I appreciate it, but I just don't have the patience for that. Now, I just want to show you what I was saying to you. If I was taking my Misty Moonlight and coloring it directly onto the paper, I would be getting that, so I'm not getting that same effect as I'm getting on the white. You just don't get the same effect and the same soft color coming through. Okay, here we go. I've got some soft succulent, which I'm going to use for the other little pillow in the back here. And I've just noticed that I've done something really terrible. I missed the bottom of that other pillow. So let's just put some white over there, and I'll let that white dry for a second while I carry on with the browns. Okay, just rip that apart. That's fine. Alright, so this is soft suede. I'm going to use for her hair. And there again, pick your color. You know, if you wanted her blonde, you could use one of the yellows, maybe crushed curry, or I probably wouldn't go daffodil delight. That's probably a little bit too yellow for blonde hair. And lastly, I'm going to grab some of my evening espresso for the window frame. And I'll show you the difference. You can tell me which one you prefer, whether you like it with the whole thing colored or with the grey granite as the background. And here again, you know, you've got options. You could have that she's sitting on a cushion on the windowsill, but I'm just going to have her sitting directly onto the windowsill. She's sitting on a wooden windowsill over here, so I'm going to color that with my early espresso as well. Okay, so let's just put a little bit more of that soft succulent to fill in the bottom of the pillow there. And I do want to make her top a little bit darker. I think I need to re-ink my Mango Melody over here. It doesn't want to squish very nicely. There we go, that looks better. And again, if you wanted to, you could go and put some blushing bright or some pink on her, you know, to make her skin tone. You can go whatever color you want with the skin tone, but I'm just going to leave that white. So as easily as that, there's our lady all colored in. And then to complete the card, I have somewhere here a layer of my Heart and Home. So this is one of the designs that I didn't show you because I've already cut it up. It's got that fresh freesia on the back, but I want the wood look, so that she's got that wood behind her. Oops, this is a new glue and that came out really fast. Okay, nice big blob of glue over there. Okay. And they look a little bit boring inside, but I've just got, and this is from the other DSP, but it doesn't matter, a tiny little strip of that wood look, which I'm going to put down the side. We've got that DSP on my insert. I think that it would be an absolute tragedy if I had an inside of the card completely blank. It has to have something on it, either stamping or you just match up the DSP. That's a really easy way of doing it. Either put a strip of the DSP down the side or along the bottom of your insert. And of course you can go and add that to your envelope as well. And then you've got everything matching up nicely. Now, sorry, I'm just looking at the other pieces have disappeared too. So that's another one that I've cut exactly the same as my sentiment. And we've got the slightly larger scalloped circle, which I'm going to put behind my lady. There we go. So she's going to sit on there. So this one isn't the one that's just that fraction larger. I've gone, I think it's sort of 2 sizes so that I've got a bit more of the border color showing through. And I'm sure that you've seen me do this before, but my favorite way to get a bit of color onto my sentiments. Cut it in half. I'm cutting it in half sort of long ways. You can do it that way, but if you cut it in half down the middle that way, then when you put your color on, you're just going to have those edges that are going to have the bit peeping out. I want it across the top. So we're going to put a little bit of glue on the top there. And the stitching is really nice because it just gives you somewhere to line it up. So if you line it up just inside the stitching line, you can see exactly where you're lining it up and you're getting it more or less straight, because some of us battle with getting things straight. No names mentioned, but it might be me. And then I'm going to stick my sentiment flat. And I'm going to pop my lady up on dimensionals. And I don't know if it's really necessary, but I just like to have a little bit of support, so I'm going to just pop an extra one in the middle over there. And more dimensional backings that can float around the house. Do you not find that doesn't matter what you do, you have dimensional backings everywhere? Alright, so we're going to put our little circle on. And I've got some of these brushed brass butterflies. I don't know who came up with that name. It's quite a catchy name, but it is so difficult to say. You get yourself all tongue-tied with that one. So I'm just going to grab one of maybe the bigger butterflies that can be flitting in the window that she's looking at. Right. Last thing that we need is a bit more bling, and I'm just looking to see where my rhinestones have disappeared to. Here we go. Have you seen these yet? They're in the new catalogue. They are the Iridescent Rhinestones, and they are beautiful. So they've got that sort of yellowy and pinky iridescent. It picks up the colour that you've got behind it. So we'll just pop one of those at the top over there, and one at the bottom, because got to have some sparkles to finish off your cards. So there's my 2 cards in the different colors. Now you can see the difference. Here's where I've actually done the whitewash all the way, and this one I've left the back grey. So which do you prefer? Do you prefer it with all the white or just the grey? Let me know what you think. Give this technique a try. It is really a fun, easy colouring technique. And if you make the cards, please post them and show me what you've done. I always like to see what you've done with the ideas that I've come up with, see what different ways you've interpreted it. So have a good weekend, and I will see you next Sunday. Till then, happy crafting. Bye.